AITA for leaving my husband at home, while I spend the week at my brother's, because of how he buys groceries. I've been in a committed relationship with my husband for 17 years, and overall, things have been great. We've had a few rough patches, but what's important to note is that while he earns more than me and is considered the main provider, I have a substantial trust fund that ensures we're financially stable. I work part-time as a teacher while attending university, earning less than him, and most of my income goes towards tuition. Our household income exceeds $200 annually, while the average in our area is below $50. One ongoing issue we have is my husband's frugality. He likes to control my spending and have the final say on how he uses his earnings. It's worth mentioning that I've never used any of his income and have no intention to do so. However, the main point of contention between us is his frequent visits to food banks. Despite having more than enough food at home, he insists on going to food banks to save money. He intentionally looks disheveled and uses our beat-up car to blend in, even though he's never experienced food scarcity. I've explained to him the need for food donations in our community, even showing him social media posts from local food banks, but he remains indifferent. I suggested he volunteer or donate to gain first-hand experience, but he refuses. The unfortunate part is that since we're never short on food, most of what he brings home ends up getting thrown away. Today, I discovered our fridge filled with fresh produce and meat that clearly didn't come from our regular grocery store. When I confronted him, he admitted to going to a food bank after seeing a Facebook post about a donation of fresh food. People on social media were already asking if any was left, and there wasn't. I showed him the comments, but he brushed them off, claiming people should have gone earlier. Exhausted by the situation, I packed a bag and went to stay with my brother for the weekend, asking for space to think things over. My husband accuses me of overreacting, being vindictive, and threatens to go back to the food banks regardless of my feelings. His family is also messaging me, calling me an AmItheAsshole and urging me to stop interfering with his choices. I turned off my phone, but now they're bombarding my brother with messages. Thankfully, he supports my decision and ignores them. All I want is to enjoy the rest of my week without being angry at my husband. Yes, I could let this go and not scold him, but the food he takes could have gone to people who truly need it. I'm not leaving my husband, but I need a few days away to gain some clarity. Am I wrong for wanting this space? AITA for making my brother-in-law pay for his son's meal after I said it was my treat? I don't see my sister and her family very often, so when I do, I tend to splurge on them. I am child-free for now and the foreseeable future. But probably not forever. I took her family out for dinner and I said it was me treat. So it was my sister, her husband, his mom who lives with them, myself, and 3 kids ages 15, 12, and 10. I took them out to a steak place on their city I always wanted to try. My 15-year-old nephew looks at the menu and says he wants the tomahawk steak. I said it was 3 pounds of meat plus 3 full sides and he should probably pick something smaller. My bill says his kid can eat it all and I said it was my treat and that I'm trying to cheap out. It is $190 for the steak. I said fine, but if he doesn't eat it all then you have to pay for it. He agreed. We order and the waiter tells us the tomahawk is usually shared between several people since it comes with 3 shareable portions of sides as well. I ask my bill if he is sure. He looks at the kid and smiles and says no problem. We ordered and when the food came out the tomahawk and sides took up almost half the table. The kid finished less than a quarter of the steak and only a little bit of the sides. When the bill came I asked to pay for 7 meals, all the drinks, and all the tip. The tomahawk steak on a separate bill for my bill, he paid with ill grace. My sister said that he used the budget that they had earmarked to take the family to see new Spider-Man movie. I felt bad, but I think that he was an AmItheAsshole to tree and waste my money. He thinks I'm an AmItheAsshole for following through and making him pay for something that mostly went to waste. Yes, they took the leftovers home. AITA for telling my wife the truth? A little backstory. My wife and I met at 21. We've been very happy together ever since. We got married at 28 when she was pregnant with our daughter. I work full-time in a very high-stress but lucrative field. My wife stays home to take care of our little girl and the household. We are about 33. Lately we have been fighting a lot, mostly about her workload. I've tried to be understanding. I now leave work 30 minutes early every day to pick up our daughter from school. A few weeks ago my wife really went off and kept ranting about her cleaning lady so she wasn't always so stressed. Red flags started going off in my head but I kept my concerns to myself. Our house is only 2,700 sqft and it's only the 3 humans and 2 dogs. Not exactly a huge load responsibility-wise. I figured she'd cool off and calm down in a few days. Nope. She started demanding I let her know what wage I'd be willing to pay. She wants to put out ads. I told her I'd take care of it. Instead, I grabbed my assistant at work and sat him at my laptop for the week with the password to my home security. She's averaging around 2 hours of activity a day. 7 a.m. Wake up and get our daughter ready for the bus. 8:15. Back to bed. Dogs left unwalked and unfed. 11:10 to 2 p.m. Wake up again. Let the dogs out back for nowhere near long enough. Throw food in the bowls for them. Order breakfast and coffee. Text message me about the ridiculous amount of dishes breakfast for her and my daughter created. A single bowl and a single spoon in reality. Lounge around and watch TV and scroll on her phone. 2-3 to 30. Very minimalistic cleaning, mostly things that are glaringly obvious. Texts me while doing so, vastly inflating the difficulty level and level of actual dirt. 3:30 I pull in after picking up my daughter. This was all of last week and most of the week before. I confronted her on Friday. Told her I wouldn't be hiring anyone and that she really needs to pull it together. She's contributing almost nothing and is complaining and lying about the little she does do. That obviously didn't go over well. She lost the plot and just continues to lie about her workload. Am I the AmItheAsshole here? Edit. I left out some information that is clearly rather important. We have a laundry service. She doesn't do laundry. We subscribe to a meal delivery plan. The only cooking done at home is on Sunday and I do it. Most if not all shopping is done by myself or my assistant. She spends at a maximum of 2.5 hours alone with our daughter daily. She has multiple hobbies and interests that she pursues and receives a generous stipend weekly to spend how she wishes. Both of our dogs are hers. I have a parrot I care for with occasional help from my assistant. AITA for telling my mom to treat my brothers the same way I am? I, 22F, have 2 brothers. For the sake of this post you'll call them John, 18M, and Terry, 16M. My mom, 50F, has always had a stronger liking towards both John and Terry. Ever since they were little, they could do no harm in her eyes. Since I was little, I would always get in trouble for everything John and Terry did. If they hurt each other, it was my fault. If they did something wrong, it was my fault, etc. My mom always raised me as a caregiver. I had to basically take care of my little brothers. I was the one cooking, cleaning, washing and ironing their clothes, buying them stuff they needed, helping them with their homework at sea. However, due to me always doing everything for them, they have become the most useless human beings on the entire earth. They are almost adults and still won't do their own laundry, won't help with the cooking, won't clean anything that they made a mess, and are just overall grubs, leaving their dirty tissues and clothes everywhere. Last night was the last straw for me when John spilt an entire bottle of orange juice on the floor and my mom told me to clean it up. I immediately started yelling at her, saying she failed as a parent, and instead of raising her sons to pull their own weight in this house and teaching 10 basic life skills, she let everyone else do it for them and never taught them a thing. She instantly started laughing at me and said I was insane to think that's how life really was there and that she raised all of us equally. I then told her that I can't wait till she grows old and will end up reliant on both of them cause I won't be around to help her out with anything and she can see how well she raised them. She told me that won't be happening cause she doesn't want them taking care of her when she's older. I stormed off to my room and cried for a good 10 minutes before packing a bag and driving to my boyfriend's house. When I told him what happened, he said he understand why I feel the way I do, but that I was quite harsh towards my mom and I should apologize for lashing out at her like that. My friend also says that I'm the and that I shouldn't speak to my mom like that. My mom has since left 2 voicemails demanding I come back home now. I'm not going home until I have calmed down and she's not as angry, so. AITA? AITA for telling my son I'm not proud of him after he helped his teacher bust half his class cheating? My wife and I have 2 sons, 15 and 9, this Reddista the older one. He does pretty good in school, and most of teachers have nothing but good things to say about him. Apparently one of his teachers asked him for help catching some kids cheating. The teacher left some fake test answers on his desk and pretended to go to the bathroom. Our son then showed as many people the answers as possible before the teacher came back in. Then he helped the teacher identify who had looked at till he answers. We only heard about this a couple weeks after the fact. Apparently said teacher got into some trouble, because more than half your students failing an exam looks bad for you as well as them. It was only then that our son revealed the part he played, and that some kids at school are angry at him for helping the teacher. I told him that while kids shouldn't be giving him trouble about that, and I'd help stop it if need be, he shouldn't be surprised. I told him he doesn't always need to suck up to authority, and 5 extra points on the test wasn't worth getting 16 other people in trouble. He argued they got themselves in trouble, but I still said he didn't. Need to help. I basically explained that to the other kids, including his friends. He's saying that he respects the teacher more than he respects them. Nobody will ever trust him after he lied like that. He thought he'd be proud of him, but not for that. All he did was lie to sell out his friends. My wife is on his side, and thinks we should be happy he helped enforce the rules. She argues the kids are solely at fault for looking at the answers, and we should be proud our son helped get some troublemakers in trouble. She also thinks I'm teaching him not to respect authority, and am going to make him think breaking the rules is right.